Celtics beat the Cavaliers at home. Mazz, your thoughts?
Well, I'm ashamed to say that I actually thought it was a pretty good win. I actually thought it was.
That takes a lot.
Yeah, seriously. Look, again, they started out terribly.
This is breaking sports news.
They started out terribly. They got down 15. The starters were brutal in the early part of that game. They dug themselves a hole. I thought, okay, it's going to be one of these nights. And they put it back together. They got the game within one at halftime, and they pulled it out at the end. They really kind of pulled away at the very end of the game. And that Cleveland team has given them trouble. They gave them a hard time last year. I love the way Donovan Mitchell plays. Okay, I'm not telling you his game's perfect, but he plays hard just about every time they play the Celtics. I don't know if it's like that every night or not, but when he plays the Celtics, he digs in, he competes. Like, there's a lot to like about his game. He gives them trouble. They have a couple of good wing players. It's one of the few teams, I think, that can kind of get in their face a little bit and defend them on the wing and make some shots. And I don't think Cleveland's better than the Celtics, but I think they push the Celtics. And I think last night, I will take a win like last night over the 155-point game against Indiana every single time.
Oh, how can you?
Of course.
Yeah, I'll take a comeback like that where they're grinding, and what were they, 0 for 9 from 3 to start in that thing? And I don't know if you felt the same way. I was like, please stop shooting the 3. I was conflicted.
Yep.
Because if they stopped shooting the 3, they probably would have won that game. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
that was difficult for me last night. But no, I would take a win like that over any of these blowouts over a suck team any day of the week. Show some balls.
Yeah, a lot of things to like about it. They had to dig a little bit. They hadn't been playing a lot, so they were a little rusty. And Cleveland off the second of back-to-back, which caught up to in the second half, but in the first half, they're more game ready. And that all reflected early, so you had to sort of hit a different gear, which you did. I also liked, Mazz, this was one of these games. I mean, they hit their three-pointers, but the key stat was 26-9.
At the free throw line.
Free throws. Celtics got to the line 26 times to 9 for Cleveland, and they hit them all. So they were 26 of 26 from the line, and the Cavs only got there 9 times. I think they were 6 of 9. But it's like, I feel like they could do that most every night.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleveland is size. I mean, I know Mobley was out, but that's a team that, typically, and maybe that was a key to it, but either way, you should be able to take most teams to the rim and let them shoot their way out of a game. And, they did. That's refreshing that they got to the line and they made their free throws. So I think that was a good sign.
And, Mike, just quickly, they did it in the fourth quarter, too. They went into Porzingis a lot. So, and I was just double-checking. He got fouled. He went 6 for 6 at the line in the fourth quarter. They went inside to Porzingis then to get some buckets or at least get some free throws out of it. And honestly, they executed down the stretch. They got some good shots. They made them. They went into the paint. Like, there was a lot to like about the game. And they only had 12 turnovers on the night, only 1 in the fourth quarter.
So, to me, it felt like the guy, too, that really started the thing was Derek White. Mm-hmm. And he's someone that I just think that guy scares me as a Bucks fan. Going into the games, like he's the guy that I think I fear him more than Porzingis. I mean, you've heard me talk about that, but I don't know. I just think that kid gets it. There's a toughness there. There's just, and I think Jaylen Brown started. He was the only guy that was scoring early. But I think when that lead got to, it was like 15 at one point, 13, 15. It was really Derek White, I think, that sort of dug your way out of it, and that makes sense to me because I think he's that guy. He's the guy that scares me on your team. What else? What else can you say about last night, Mazz?
Look, I mean, again, I think we've covered the big points, but Derek White to me is sort of he's a rock. Like, he is a rock for them in those. In fact, I would say the backcourt in its entirety. I like Holiday's game last night, too. And again, Holiday didn't take a shot in the fourth quarter, but I want him out there. I want him out there for both ends of the floor. I think there's a real stability that he brings to these games. He doesn't rattle. And you know what? That is really, I guess I would say that is my big takeaway from the whole thing. If you were to say put it under one umbrella, they didn't rattle last night. They didn't rattle early. They didn't rattle late. They made all their free throws. They went inside. And Cleveland is it's a good test. I like the fact that, the unbeaten thing at home means something to me because I think that's one of those things in that league that the good teams all do it. They're all good at home. Now, if they can do the same kind of thing on the road, I'll be even more impressed because it's easier to get rattled on the road. But last night, the big takeaway to me is they didn't crack.
So I was just going to say the home thing. That's something they've struggled with the last couple of years for some ungodly reason. How many big games?
Well, especially in the postseason, yeah.
Right. Have they lost at home? So that's one they got to. You start with that in the NBA. I mean, traditionally, I don't know the numbers. It feels like it's gotten a little more. It's evened out a little bit more in basketball, but traditionally, that's where it begins. You take care of business at home, and the Celtics have not been able to do that for a while. So 11-0 at home. That's a big number. The way they went inside, got to the line, to me was an important factor. The fact that they had to fight for this one and grind it out. That's an important thing for me. So they're just good. When they just decided to turn it on and they finally got going there in the second quarter. It's just one of those nights I look at them. It's just there's just too many guys that can hit a shot. They're just. Well, on Derek, I feel they're so much better than everybody else.
Yeah, you mentioned Derek White, who's basically their fourth option, and he's trending towards having a career high in pretty much all the stats, but especially in points. And if he's going to have a season like this, and that's their fourth option, like if they play to that level, I just don't. They're the best team in the league, hands down. And he's my favorite player